By now, you know that you need to market. You know that every successful veterinary practice, in fact, every successful veterinary business prospers because of excellence in marketing. And you can't afford to rely on hope marketing. That's where you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You throw up a generic website. You play around a little bit with Facebook. You play around a little bit with Google Ads and with Yellow Pages online and with Yellow Pages physical. And you haven't really thought about it, any of that, very deeply at all. But then you just hope. You hope that they do well. That strategy just doesn't work so well. In fact, that strategy is a surefire way to just plain downright waste money. You need to execute your marketing properly in a carefully thought through and thought out structured way. You need to follow a system, a tried and true blueprint which works. You need to engineer your success, in fact. And the good news is that it's very easy to do. It's called the Easy Veterinary Marketing System. Over the last 2 videos, we've examined some of the components of that system in a lot of detail. Today, we're going to share the entire blueprint in its entirety with you so that you can really crack on and get deeply successful with and get an awesome outcome with your own personal marketing blueprint for your practice. This video is all about following that easy veterinary marketing blueprint, that process, that structure, that system, and creating your own marketing path and your own marketing plan. This video is all about helping you create your own blueprint, your own system that works, creating it right here, right now, today. So grab a pen and paper and let's get cracking. I'm Diederik Gelderman, and for the last 15 years, I've been training vets in how to have a greater level of personal and professional satisfaction, how to make their practice more profitable, how to put more money away for a comfortable retirement, and how to have a work-life balance that's really on track and really the way that you want it to be. I've worked with small one-doctor practices. I've worked with large multi-doctor practices. I've worked with small animal, specialty, specialist, mixed and equine practices. I've worked with practices from Australia to the USA, from Canada to Europe, and from New Zealand to Botswana. So let's get started on planning your marketing. First of all, down below this video, there is a PDF that you can download. And that PDF is also on the email that directed you to this video. So go to one of those 2 links and download the Veterinary Marketing Blueprint itself. That's the blueprint that we're going to use and that we're going to go through today. Now, a couple of warnings that I need to be right up front with. First of all, that blueprint is pretty intense. There's a heck of a lot there. There's a lot of detail, a heck of a lot of detail. Please don't be intimidated by that detail. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to learn it all. You don't have to do it all. Frankly, what we're about here is using this blueprint to create your own marketing master plan, your blueprint. So this is all about you knowing which pieces of this blueprint you need to take to create your own. Now, the other thing is, I'm going to go very, very quickly in this video. I'm also not necessarily going to cover off on every single piece of the Easy Veterinary Marketing Blueprint. I'm going to actually skip over some pieces. There are going to be some things that I'm going to cover in this video that are actually not in the blueprint. And there's going to be quite a lot of things in that blueprint that I actually won't be able to cover off on in this video. Sorry about that, but we've got a lot of ground to cover, and frankly, time is getting really tight. Now, you've already had 2 Easy Veterinary Marketing video. The first video was all about developing your marketing calendar and your marketing plan, the actual underpinning framework for all of your marketing. The second video was all about the 3 marketing big guns: retention of clients, kick butt referral program, and how to attract A-grade clients quickly. If you haven't yet made the time to watch those 2 videos, please, may I suggest that you check them out now. They're pretty much required watching, required homework if you want your vet practice to thrive now and into the future. They're pretty much required viewing to underpin and get most out of today's video. Before we move on today, I'd like to thank you for your feedback, your emails, your Skype messages, your SMSs, your phone calls, your questions. I've answered every single one of them personally, so I know that they're sorted. However, if you still have any questions at all, just fire them in and I'll reply to you right away. Now, there were some questions around marketing in general, such as, what about if I'm a small practice? Will marketing actually be useful to me? I really want to market, but I don't have the time. How do I get around that? Number 3, marketing is expensive. How can I afford to do it properly? And number 4, I don't know where to start. They were the 4 most common questions that came out. And I'm actually answering all those questions in the video today. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears tuned. Now, like I said, I'm going to be moving really quickly through this video because time is tight. We've got this video and the next video, and we don't have that much time left to finish this all off. So I'm going to move really quickly as possible. Don't be intimidated. Remember, this is all about baby steps. It's about taking that next small step in your marketing journey. That's what I've done all along from when I first started on this path. It's all about baby steps and progression. It's not about perfection. So this blueprint also is very, 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 very powerful. In fact, there's a lot of redundancy built in, redundancy or a safety net or a parachute, call it whichever one of the 3 you like. It's really powerful and it's so redundant that you don't need to get everything perfect. You can make mistakes. It's designed in such a way that you can make mistakes, but as long as you follow the blueprint, follow the formula, follow the system and get the core pieces right, you can make mistakes. I make mistakes pretty much all the time and they're little ones, and I'm going to continue to make mistakes, but the formula is so powerful it allows you to make those mistakes and still stay on track. The structure, the Easy Veterinary Marketing System is so robust that these little mistakes just don't matter at all. That's why I say it's sort of like having an inbuilt parachute. Now, I'll just quickly share what some of my students have done so that as you move through the blueprint, you can keep in mind what's possible, and also so that you can set some goals and targets for yourself. First of all, there's Jamie and Jody's 2-doctor practice in Boston, Massachusetts. They started using this blueprint just on 3 years ago. Took them a little while to get traction, but just before Christmas this year or last year, they put on their 5th doctor. So they went from 2 doctors to 5 doctors in 3 years. Their current growth rate is just on 30% a year. Their profitability was 7%. It's now 16%, and they anticipate by the end of this financial year it's going to be up just on 20%. Now, there's Louise Jones in Melbourne. She's from a 4.5 to 5 doctor practice. She's been a student for just on 12 months. She joined us in 2016. Now, her extra profit in the last 12 months was $108,000. So it's $108,000 profit better than the year before. Now, there's also a 1 doctor, and I love this story, a 1 doctor practice in a coastal resort town who when he joined last year said, there's no extra work in this town. They're all retirees or they're all here on holidays, and all they're concerned about is perceived expensive veterinary fees. And most of them only come to him for emergency care. Now, using the Easy Veterinary Marketing strategies, Jonathan, over an 18-month period, almost doubled his practice turnover, which allowed to put on the second doctor, which is what he's been trying to do for 8 years. So as we move through the material today, just keep those examples in mind for yourself. Those examples of what's possible and what you too can do. Remember, baby steps. So let's get started on today's video. On the screen in front of you is the Easy Veterinary Marketing System, and it makes sense to start with first things first, doesn't it? The big three here are phones, people, and premises. You think that everyone would regard this is their starting point, wouldn't you? But so often I see practices doing some marketing, and sometimes it's actually good marketing and it works. And so they get a whole heap of new potential clients interested in coming into the practice, or perhaps they've managed to reattract some former clients and are coming back. But because they haven't nailed their phone training for a while, the receptionists actually only book 1 or 2, and statistically, by the way, that's totally normal, 1 or 2 appointments rather than 5 or 6 appointments out of 10 inquiry phone calls. And that 5 or 6 is what's easily attainable with good phone training. Or maybe the clients do come in and they meet the team and they're okay. They're okay. But that's all they are. And so this meet and greet doesn't bowl the client over, so they never actually come back in a second time. Or maybe the client does come in and the team are great, but then there are those weeds or a sloppy looking car park, maybe a cobweb or two, a torn or tatty poster, some blue tack on the walls, or even a light bulb that needs changing. And again, there's that feeling of letdown, where the end result doesn't quite live up to the expectation. You know what I mean. You've been there. We all have. That's why you must get these basics right. And that's why in my Easy Veterinary Marketing course, I've included a bonus. And that bonus is a brilliant phone training program. And I've also included a 6 months customer service training program as well. This means that you get it right from step 1. Now you need to do that also. Remember, first things first. Now we're going to talk about education-based marketing. You can't market to the modern client now like you did even 10 years ago. Well, you can actually, but it won't work. The modern client has very, very different needs and wants. In the past, we were the repository of all veterinary-based information, and we doled it out to our clients on an as-needs basis. We're no longer that repository. We no longer control the information flow. The internet, Dr. Google does all that for all species. This is excellent for us. Excellent for us, and it plays right into the hands of the smart practice and the smart practitioner. Because the reason for this is the modern client is now totally overwhelmed by what they can look up and what they find out. What they now look to us for is not to be the repository, but to curate the information. They look to us to help them dissect through the noise of everything that's out there and to help them find the 1 or 2 or 3 pieces of information that's specifically relevant and pertinent to them, their pets, their farm stock, their wants, their needs, and their desires. And when you market to your client and to your potential client using that exact strategy, then they'll flock to you in droves and recommend you to all their friends. The modern pet, small animal farm, horse owner, horse farm, cattle owner, they all have an aspiration line of where and how these farm animals or pets fit in with their lives. When you help them on that journey, you'll become their trusted advisor and their go-to guy or gal. Now with commercial farm stock, there are a few variations as their aspiration line typically has a commercial bent to it. However, basically the same strategies apply. So modern marketing, at least, let's be real, modern marketing which works, needs to educate, and educate. Give information, and give information. And you can do that for free through your website, your newsletters, blogs, Facebook's, YouTube, Snapchat even is getting traction with some of my clients. Look, I know that social, in inverted commas, may not be your cup of tea, but your clients love it and your clients are on it. It works, it's free, and it gets them to come in and visit you. It gets them to regard you as the expert. Just remember, whatever form your advertising and marketing takes, just make sure that you use it to educate your client. Educate your client. Now we're going to move on to client acquisition and advertising. I guess that sort of leads us into one of the biggest mistakes that most practices make, and that's focusing on client acquisition. You don't need to, and you shouldn't focus here until you've totally nailed client retention. As you know from video 2, just slight increases in retention is the fastest and biggest way to grow your practice. You should only focus on acquisition if either you're a startup or if you really want rapid growth and you're set up to handle it. There are lots and lots of good acquisition programs which work. The one working best for me right now is sending a welcome to the neighbourhood letter to all new homeowners that move into an area. Currently, we're gaining about 30 new clients out of every 100 letters that we send. These letters or packs include a very simple get to know us voucher. The results have just been stunning. Aside from that, advertorials in newspapers and letterbox drops as well as general advertising still do really very well. You just need to know the right strategies to use and the right offer to make. The thing to remember here is the lifetime value of a new client. So that's how much your average client will typically spend with you over their lifetime with your practice. Typically in most suburbs all over the world, that varies from around about $6,000 to $16,000. It's a dead easy number to get out of your practice management software. And that number, whether it's 6,000 or 10,000 or 16,000, that number obviously determines exactly how much you can afford to spend to actually get a new client to visit you in the first place. Personally, I rarely use advertising strategies with my student practices, as we rarely find we need to use this methodology. We have so many other options available to us. So now let's talk about referrals. This was also a focus of video 2, having a great referral program in which you actively but subtly ask for referrals and then thank your client for referring them. That is mandatory for a class practice. Your A-grade clients are begging to refer their friends to you. You just need to show them that it's okay, and you've got to just help make it easy for them to do so. Remember that target that we talked about. A minimum of 50% of all new clients should come by referral. I now want to talk about the what I call the fine print. The fine print is the big gotchas, which we've got down here. The big gotchas are the things that hold people back. I've been teaching easy veterinary marketing vet practice owners and managers now since 2004. I have students and clients all over the world. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people been through my training. They've grown their practices tremendously and they have had tremendous success. And I've seen other people who have never learned the right strategies struggle and struggle so badly. So basically, I just want to cover off on some of the things that really stop people and hold them back. The first thing is this concept of this idea of I'm struggling and I have no time and or I have no money. I hope you understand that it's your current way of doing things, your current strategies that have gotten you to where you are today. If you continue to use those old strategies, then you're going to continue to get those same old results. So if you're struggling, then this is the perfect time to change what you're doing. Let's discuss that no time concept. You need to invest about an hour a week into marketing. Do that and just watch your practice take off. Watch your lifestyle and income levels change dramatically. Now, it doesn't have to be you doing it. Marketing isn't rocket science. It can be done really, really well by any motivated nurse, receptionist, practice manager, especially when they follow this Easy Veterinary Marketing blueprint that we're talking about right here, or if they, in fact, join the class that's coming up really soon. Let's discuss no money. Marketing done well is not expensive. What's more, marketing done well is actually an investment and not a cost, because your return on investment will be 5 or 10-fold at least. No money is simply not an excuse. What's more, the cost of not marketing is huge, and its impact on your practice and you personally can be just horrendous. For example, we've talked about welcome packs increasing your 3-year new client retention from 50% up to about 80 or 85%. We've talked about the lifetime value of every client being, say, let's be conservative, $5,000 to $10,000. Do the maths for yourself. Invest, say, $3 or $4, maybe $5 in a welcome pack, and you increase your client retention by almost double, at least 1.5 times. And we know that a 5 to 10% increase in client retention results in a 50 to 100% increase in practice profits. Do the maths. It's just crazy not to invest $4 in a welcome pack. See what I mean? Marketing makes you money. Then I hear people say, I'm just a normal small animal practice. I'm just a normal mixed animal practice. I'm just a normal equine practice, or I'm a rural practice, or I'm a city practice, I'm a suburban practice, or whatever. And therefore, marketing won't work in my type of practice. It won't work in my area. It won't work for me, etc., etc. And then even some of them say, I'm not in the USA, or I'm not in Australia, or I'm not in Europe, and therefore it won't work for me. Well, I say balderdash to all of that. Balderdash. Vet practice is vet practice, and human psychology is human psychology. They're the same the world over. Just like pets are the same the world over. And that's why the Easy Veterinary Marketing system works anywhere and everywhere, irrespective of style of practice, location of practice, or the country. We're working with humans and we're looking to help them as best we can. That sets this system, that sets us apart, and that works. Now we have this concept of it won't work for me. Hey, this here is actually a legitimate one. This is a legitimate gotcha, because as Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The reality is, the thing that holds people back more than anything else is that they don't believe in themselves. I can't necessarily help you with that mental head trash that's going on with you. If you think you're born to be a failure, then I can't change that. Frankly, I've tried to. I really did. If you're convinced that it won't work for you, then it won't. The thing is, though, that this formula has worked for so many people. If you want to put in the work, then my firm belief, and I've seen lots of evidence of this, I've got all kinds of proof, I've got all kinds of empirical proof of people just going for it and having it work for them, because you actually start with the basics and keep right on going. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I really hope you decide it's time to step up. And I hope that you decide that you can, and then you're going to be right. I'm not going to cover off on too many more of the gotchas, except this one, which is really important. And this one is, it's outside my comfort zone. I'm not going to cover off on too many more of the gotchas, except this one. And this one is important. It's way outside of my comfort zone, Diederik. I just don't know. I'm really uncomfortable with this. The thing is, I'm willing to bet that nearly all the good things that have come to you in your life came when you stretched outside your comfort zone. All growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone. My job is to have a bigger vision for your future than you do. This is something I take very, very seriously. I've seen far too many people make these incredible transformations in their lives. And this started with my life. Now I see it in other vets' lives. I see their transformation, and it's incredible. And it's happened so many times. It's happened enough times to where I started to just see this vision for my students and my clients. You've got a decision to make. Are you ready to step up and create a bigger life? That's really what this all comes down to. All success comes from baby steps. You just need to take those baby steps and be willing to say, I've got a bigger purpose. I've got a bigger vision. I can create a bigger life for my family and for me. I can create a bigger lifestyle, bigger income. I can help more animals. I can help more people. That's where all this comes from. You have to decide whether and if and when it's time to have that bigger life. And then you're going to have to step outside of that comfort zone. That's the reality. It's not like you have to jump out of it. You just have to stretch it a little. You just need to start taking those baby steps. This is something I'm really passionate about. I love to work with people in transition. I love to see people making that transformation. I love to see people creating that bigger life for themselves, creating a bigger income, bigger lifestyle for their family, and often a much, much bigger impact, helping more people, more animals, more pets, and that's what it's really about. At the end of the day, that's my job. My real job is having that bigger vision for you, holding that bigger vision for you, and then hold you to going after that bigger vision. Now let's look at some more gotchas. I'm often asked, I'm a new practice owner or about to a new practice owner. When should I start to market? Look, you probably haven't got any form of marketing going on in your practice yet. If that's the case, then this is an awesome day for you, because there is no better way to get rapid traction and really super rapid growth in your practice than to market, and to market well. And now you have the starting point to making your marketing awesome. The second category is perhaps that you're someone that's owned a practice for a number of years, either on your own or in partnership. And finally, you're realizing that you're not getting paid a commercial wage. You're not putting enough money aside for your retirement. Your work-life balance sucks, and your level of personal and professional satisfaction is really crappy. And you're wondering whether marketing is part of your solution. The answer is absolutely. If this is you, then what you need to do is to create some real leverage. The way that you do that is to start marketing or improve your existing marketing and make it effective and efficient and to make it work really, really well. Just follow this system and you'll make that happen. And then the third practice owner, inverted commas, excuse that I often hear is that you're a practice owner who's close to retirement and there won't be enough time left for you to improve your practice profits and your outcome. And the problem that you have is that what you based your retirement nest egg on so many years ago was selling your practice. And that just doesn't cut it anymore, because you don't think you're going to make enough money out of that sale to put enough money away for that comfortable retirement. The great news for you is that marketing and growing your practice is the answer, because it can work really quickly. If you follow along with the blueprint and if you take action, then a successful, comfortable retirement can be just around the corner. These strategies work, and they work quickly. All you need to do is to take the necessary action and hang in there a little while longer, and your practice sale price could even double or triple what it is now. And I've actually seen it go up more than that on quite a few occasions. So these strategies, these changes that we've talked about over the last few weeks are quick
to implement, and quick, very quick to work. Now, I just want to cover off on a couple more things just quickly. What I want to talk about now is merchandising. Let's be frank. Most practices have absolutely no idea how to display their over-the-counter and other stock in the reception area effectively. This is a no-brainer. When you learn how to display your stock properly, you can increase sales threefold at no extra cost. So that's triple the profit at zero extra cost. You just have to get one of your front of house staff to learn some very basic display techniques. There is a huge profit center going wasted here in every practice. It's just going begging. These techniques are simple and easy. Just get someone to learn the strategies and put them in charge. It's plain downright dumb to ignore them. The next thing I want to talk about is what I call programs. And this is what I want to cover off next. There are 11 what I call programs. These are things that clients want from their vet. These include things like senior program, dental program, lumps and bumps program, arthritis program, lost and lapsed client reactivation program. They're the biggies. As I said, there's 11. Most practices already do or have these programs in their practice, but rarely do they run them in a formal or a systematized way. Rarely are they documented, and even more rarely do the clients actually know about them. Go figure. I call this ethically recycling your client. You need to document and to systematize these programs so that clients and their pets move from one to the other to the other. Each one kicks in as that particular required care is needed by each pet. For example, when a pet develops dental disease, they're enrolled in your dental care program, which maximizes their opportunity for optimal dental health. As every pet hits 7 or 8 years of age, they become enrolled in your senior care program. This allows earlier detection of age-related diseases. If a client hasn't visited for, say, 18 to 24 months, this triggers your lost, lapsed client reactivation strategy, which, when done well, will typically bring 30%, and I've seen that again and again and again. 1 in 3 of these lost lapsed clients will come back to your practice. Again here, think of that lifetime value of your client, 5 to 10,000 conservatively. And you're in fact, when you do a lost lapsed client reactivation program, you're actually getting a new client back on board. So it's crazy not to have this program running in your practice. The cost of this is only a couple of emails or a couple of letters, and the awareness to send them out at the right time and just have them automated out of your practice management software. Very easy. These 11 programs are all focused on retaining your clients and serving them and their pets with the care that they need and want. The studies show that 71% of your clients want this care from you. And if you don't provide it, they'll search for a vet who does provide it. My students tell me that on average in a 1-doctor practice, implementing a simple dental program gives them an extra $20,000 profit, that's in your pocket, profit every year. A student in Melbourne, Jean-Paul, told me 2 weeks ago that their new lumps and bumps and arthritis program gave them an extra $115,000 profit in the last financial year. Can you afford to not implement these strategies? Remember, there are 11 of these. You don't need all 11. Just do dental and senior this year and you'll be streets ahead of where you are now. Put your practice manager or motivated nurse in charge and get cracking. I now want to talk about the 4 freedoms. These are really self-explanatory and frankly, time's caught up with us. So rather than talk about them today, I'm going to cover off on them in the next video. And then right at the top here, we have miscellaneous. We don't have any time to go into this either, except to say that you do need to consciously decide what your practice model is. Is it low touch, low tech, or is it high touch, high tech, or Or is it somewhere in between? Or is it none of these? You can't be everything to everyone. You're going to end up being nothing to no one, including to your family and to yourself. So think carefully on your practice model, what you stand for and who your clients are. Then we get to selling strategies. It's that S word. I've left that S word till almost the very end. It's a word, though, that we need to get over. Unless we ethically sell the client the correct beliefs and ideas on pet care or horse care or farm stock care, and whatever that level of care happens to be within the budgetary and belief constraints of the owner, then the pet's going to miss out on that care. And ultimately, the client is denied and misses out as well. One of the things really missing in the training of our veterinarians, nurses and receptionists is learning how to ethically provide products and services that the client needs. In other words, ethical selling. This is a focus I have with my students, and once they get it, they love this concept. There are plenty of resources, vet industry specific resources that you can access to help train your staff. And in the Easy Veterinary Marketing program, if you join us in that, there's a whole module on selling strategy. Now let's talk about resources. I'm not going to go much into this. As you can see, there's a ton of resources in the blueprint. I cover off on all these different tools, including the books that I use, and it's all there on screen for you. There's a massive amount of information. I'm not going to go through it because it's very self-explanatory. Everything that I use is listed there for you. Be sure that you download the blueprint if you haven't. Print it out and go through it. There's a ton of information there. So that's the Easy Veterinary Marketing Blueprint. I know I've covered a lot of ground. And again, you don't need to remember it all. You don't need to know it all or even understand it all. I'll tell you what. Even my very, very, very best students don't use, and I'm talking about students, practices which are growing at 30% plus per year, and they have over 23% net profit after all expenses as their profit figures. They don't do everything. They don't know everything. They don't use it all. I don't use it all the time. As I said, there's a great redundancy built into the system. That's why we've been through this process. So you can pick and choose what you want to put into your own Easy Veterinary Marketing Blueprint. The thing is, you just have to follow the formula that I've given you. Now you've had 3 full videos. If you go back through them, I've basically laid out the formula for you. Follow that formula. It's been proven by over 800 practices. It's been proven in dozens and dozens of markets all over the world, in many different economies, and in many different types and styles of practices, in many different sizes of practices. Just follow the formula. If you're ready to join me, if you're ready to take this deeper and go further on this journey with me, then I'm going to be opening up a new class of Easy Veterinary Marketing in just a matter of days. The way this works is I only open up a new class once a year. The last time that we opened up a full class to the general public was March 2016. The way that this works is that we run it almost like a college class where we all go through it together. I'll open up registration, it'll be open for just over a week, and then we'll close it down and get the class started. In the next video is going to be all about moving forward. If you're interested in moving forward in your practice, in your life, if you want some more details on the program, I'm going to be laying it all out for you on the next video. For now, I've given you a ton of work here, a ton of homework. You got those first 2 videos and you've got this 3rd video and the entire Easy Veterinary Marketing Blueprint. I've laid it all out for you to go through so that you can create your own blueprint for your own awesome practice marketing. Thanks for joining me, and I really look forward to seeing you and catching up together on the last video. Bye.